Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Age of Mythology, Age of Empires 4 replay. Spawn on the bottom side as the blue Ottomans. We got a foreign name with 486. I have no idea what this is. There's also lowercase u. Versus the top right side as the magenta Holy Roman Empire. We got Revain. Revan? Because I see Revain. Probably not how you pronounce it. I can't pronounce any name. We do have now the military school being established there. Probably going for some early aggression of some spearmen. Though, sometimes players like to herd their deer deposits forward, or back to their town center. There's a decent deer deposit here. His other deer deposits way over here, and of course his boar is over here, but he is Ottomans, which means he's Islamic, so it's haram to eat it. Bottom right side, or just right side for magenta, he has both deer deposits over here, and he's Holy Roman Empire, so he can eat boar, which is next to the large gold deposit up here. Small and small here, so there's going to be more gold towards the left. So I'm guessing magenta may go for professional scouts and just expand upwards. But that's a very hazardous guess at this moment in time. Aachen Chapel next to the wooden gold. Maybe it's going to be fast fortress.
Righty.
We do now have the twin minaret. Minaret's been put on the field. We'll give him 4 villager food collection rate, which is better than at those 4 villagers do collect up faster than the rate of boar. Is a rate of 1, if I remember correctly, versus a rate which boar has a rate of what, 9.2 or 9.1. Magenta's taking time to kill off the local deer population. Not exactly sure why. And we've got a decent number of sheeple there. Blue's pushing forward some spearmen. He's trying to take up the scout. Is that full health? He's going to stab a sheep. You monster. And do have some early farms here, so we've got some sort of eco play by magenta. Going to get some great collection rate from these farms. And the sheep will be tasked on home. He is out of sheep here, so he may went for farms for something for the interim until he got his sheep here. Blue right now has 13 sheep, while magenta here has only 7, so it looks like blue did much better on the sheep collection. Military school here, and going for a stable here. Military school is going for a Sipahi production. If it's 3 spearmen, he could probably just keep them near the gold deposit so they don't accidentally get picked off. Vizier points. No, Vizier has been deployed in the field, but he almost has enough for 1. And looks like magenta designed for full eco. Blue's currently not deploying any military structures as well. I think both players are eyeing for a fast fortress, so let's just fast forward a little bit there. Oh, howdy, sorry, I just saw your YouTube comment. Good number of spearmen to protect the outpost being built. Got 6 villagers there, so 1 will draw the short straw if they get attacked. There's the Vizier point. Goes for the Antling Hills. Give him 10 more sheeple, as well as the plus 50% mining collection rate. Personally, I think most time Antling Hills is the best of the 3 options. Though it's always quite nice to get field work, to get 2 imams, and immediately try to get out the craps of relics before as you age up. Blue's going to try a bit of aggression there. Has 1 scout, 1 Sipahi here. It's not going to be too powerful. Got the Bulgar of Paulus being put on the field. That was I was not expecting. Bulgar of Paulus is effectively what, times 4, times 5 barracks. 400% faster. I never know if that means 4 times or 5 times faster. But either way, that will of course be his barracks. Maybe eyeing for some man-at-arms play. Maybe a good idea to go for some spearmen just to get out towards these relics, and I to get some prelates to the relics to get them. Looks like after the Sipahi, we'll be eyeing for a Meter. Now got the Mahid Imperial Army now deployed in the field to give him, of course, some free siege weapons. Which probably best go for Spring Guards, especially when he sees the Bulgar Paulus. And I always think that Spring Guards needs to be a bit of nerf at the Mahid Imperial Armory. I think they build too quickly here. It's like half the time as Magano. I think it should be faster than Magano, but I don't think it should be half the time. Probably increase it from like 6 seconds to a minute 30, while Magano's 2 minutes as a reference point. I don't know exact time. So here comes the Man-at-Arms. Right now, just early Man-at-Arms, not regular Man-at-Arms. Does spot the Man-at-Arms here. Of course, they do have the marching drill, increase the movement speed a little bit. Spy do move slower than the regular horseman, but now got the regular man-at-arms now pulling fields, and a group of 6 now advancing. The spearmen, of course, will have no possibility of standing up against the man-at-arms. Let's see, not pulling back just yet. He knows that they're coming. Spy won't be able to do much. The crossbowman is a good counter now, but we'll need more of them. Right now, just 8 man-arms going for some Dark Age spearmen to help deal with the Sipahi. Does have now Feudal Age spearmen. Spearmen trying to hold the line. Do have a lance on the field, which is a good option to be a good frontline unit that doesn't require any teching. And no, it doesn't have any barracks on the field. Got some of these men-at-arms now engaging the crossbowmen, and due to the fast reduction speed of the nearby blacksmith, he's able to get some lances out relatively quickly. Some of the crossbowmen are going down. Sipahi getting ripped apart here as well. Lancer does get overwhelmed by sheer numbers, and so more spearmen would be a good idea for the Holy Roman Empire player. He could also mix in some lance connects as well to help deal with the spearmen even more quickly, and the lance connects still are very effective versus armored targets as lancers. Another vizier point now available. A lot of good options. Against the man-at-arms production, but we do have spearmen now. It's probably a good idea not to go for the Akaniji, or however you pronounce that. He does go for the field work, so go for another tier 1 or line 1. Not sure if that's a great idea. I think he's just trying to get the relics before his opponent. With our cast vision, we know the Holy Roman Empire player does have 2 prelates on the field, and he actually mainly deployed out a prelate from the town center, I believe, rather than from monasteries, because he doesn't have a monster in the field. So he's just going to be grabbing relics and drop them off at home. So maybe the imams were a good call. For those who are not familiar with this horse archer variant, the Akanji, I have no idea to pronounce that. They are a horse archer that have fire arrows and volleys of 2, which I believe they go 7, 9, 11 with a damage-based damage. So since they are more or less a high attack speed unit, because they fire 2 arrows, like Magudai, they're going to be a lot less effective versus armored units such as man-at-arms. And I think their attack speed is actually pretty slow as well. Can't remember exactly though. And the Holy Roman Empire is generally known for mass man-at-arms. So they have very nice man-at-arms, so crossbowmen are a good option, while the horse archers are not. This extended fortifications could be quite nice, giving them bonus damage for defensive arrows, but then again, it's better to be offensive than defensive, so military camp is probably the best of these 3 lines right now. And the music abruptly stopped. Imam trying to grab the relic, crossbowman trying to provide some covering fire. The Imam became extra holy. And the Maginot will fire a bit of a miss there. You have some Janissaries in the field, which do offer good damage, low range, good attack speed. Man-at-Arms could be quite resilient to them, so I'm not so sure if they're a great option, just a good option right now. +2 melee armor is not a bad idea. Especially right now with just versus Spearmen, which they have pretty low damage. The +2 melee armor is probably the best option in this situation. And the Holy Roman Empire player has gone for a good number of Spearmen, going for some more man-arms as well as horsemen. Janissaries, of course, do also have bonus damage versus cavalry, which I think is supposed to be a reference to taking on the Polish Hussars. Not exactly sure. Seems a little bit out of place, but there could be a historical context for that one. But with their reduced range as well, it makes them a little less effective versus archers. So archers will still be a good counter to Janissaries, who are particularly good, I should say. Spearmen and man-at-arms trying to find some more villagers. There's only 5 hiding spots here, so it's not great for them. Towns are firing away. We'll lose some more villagers. Magenta's cut off 6, Blue's cut off 0. So Magenta does have a good villager advantage, plus has the Aachen Chapel, which is probably the best Age 2 landmark in the game. Veteran horsemen engaging these forces. Got a good number of lancers there, but a little bit outnumbered, and spearmen. 2 native weapons now being researched. Lancers getting ripped apart there. Right now, Magenta does have armor 27 versus armor 25. Blue, however, has a much higher quality army. They're just very spread out. There is some spring golds from the Hidden Imperial Armory. Each one's taking approximately 1 minute, I believe, right now. So it just pumps out the spring golds. Another Vizier point. Like I said, I think the military campus is the best option. Does go for military campus. And of course, when it comes to the horse archers, it effectively comes the same vein when we're dealing with horsemen versus the men-at-arms. Not great, but they're still a pretty nice unit, don't get me wrong. Plus, they are food and wood units, so they are technically a trash unit. We have some good AoE healing here from the Imams. We do now have survival techniques now being researched. Good damage there. We do now have the horsemen engage some villagers. Lancers trying to stop the horsemen. Try to pick off that one last villager there. So it looks like the Holy Roman Empire player is getting a little bit out quality there. Does have some lands connects mixed on in. And the Ottoman player really has a good number of lancers in the field. Has 13. Ottoman lancers have nothing really special to them other than what the meta support can be. Six side being decaptured, six side being captured. Out there, we'll be backing on off. Got now the lancers engaging. Good micro there by Blue, trying to get around the far side of the horsemen and fix them almost. We'll pick them all off. Got a good number of spearmen. You only need a handful of lance connects for them to be effective. And only a handful of man-at-arms as well, but against all the lancers, spearmen is probably the better way to go. Lance connects to offer 17 damage, base damage in Castle Wage. And they can get really empowered. I think you can get them up to like a total of like a 32 damage in Pure Age. They can be quite absurd. The biggest aspect is the AoE damage, which is effectively an anti-infantry tool itself. Great damage there onto those Lancers. Horseman finish off the Sipahi, which is currently just Feudal Age Sipahi, not Castle Age. Lancers pushing over here, picks up some of these villagers. Some of these villagers are highly wounded. We do now, of course, have most of the main arms are fully upgraded, barring some blacksmith research. They are upgraded with the heavy weapons as well as two-handed weapons. Now they can do up to 21 damage in melee. They get up to 22, the Sage. Definitely a good idea if the Autumn players start getting out more crossbowmen. They're a little bit more cost effective than the Janissaries. Not to mention that a little bit extra range does go a long way. Particularly the bolts. Take aside being decaptured. Magenta has them all captured on up. Blue will stop that. Looks like all of them may be decaptured relatively soon. Magenta's obtained 3 relics, Blue's obtained 2. No upgrades in the South Post at the moment. Holy Roman Empire player has currently 0 stone. He may not even touched a stone deposit yet this game. Doesn't appear to be. Elon getting a bit of AoE healing there. Could probably get some actual healing going while the 6 site being captured. The Autumn player does have 8 Spring Gulls deployed on the field, which is very nice. He's going for a Dark Age Spearman as well, deploying out multiple Dark Age Spearmen. Central 6 side has been captured by Blue. Magenta will put the stop to that. Magenta right now has 105 military units in the field. Though right now the quality is very similar because we've got 43 plus the 19. Gotta add those together. The Autumn player has a very high quality force. The Holy Roman Empire player does definitely have a number. Spring Gull's gonna have trouble versus the Horsemans. But Janissaries not so much, but you only have small number of Janissaries, which may be just adequate enough. More Janissaries wouldn't be half bad in the situation. They of course be effective versus everything here. Crossbone of course be a bit more effective versus the Man at Arms, but actually probably not enough Man at Arms really warrant it. Holy Roman Empire player is going for a good number of crossbowmen because he is fighting against a good number of Lancers. We've got 2 Spearmans on the point field that may have been deployed out from some military academies. Nice providing a good front line there. Spearmen and Man at Arms trying to engage these Lancers. Spring Gulls need to start focusing on the various frontline units. Getting to the back line while at it. But I think overall Blue's going to get his force overwhelmed here. Magenta is going to get the part there. I think Magenta had a bit of a better counter force to Blue's army. Though Spring Gulls still doing some good work there. And Magenta doesn't really have much of an army to end with. Blue has no army to really speak of either. More lances being blown in the field. Got a fortified outpost. Garrison with Spring Gull replacement. Blue's army's now down to 1-2. And the Hidden Imperial army trying to go for another Spring Gull. He may need to find a better rally point. And right now, Magenta only has mostly crossbowmen here. Oh, got a round of Janissaries. Was that from the Janissary company? Yeah, he went for emergency Janissaries. I generally don't like seeing this Vizier point, but I understand this one time he needed them. The last Vizier point's probably going to go for the military academies to improve their production rate. Spotty getting a good flank there on these various units. More reinforcements being summoned, including Janissaries and Spahi. Going for Meter. Another Spring Golem in the field. Probably should have got on this side of the structure because it's a little bit too vulnerable there. Yeah, they will get picked off immediately. But yeah, his last Vizier point would like to go into the Advanced Academies. Magenta has held. And when it comes to our destroyed value, Magenta does have a higher destroyed value, but overall I think both sides lost the fight. Because both sides lost their army. And the Sacred Side is trying to be reverted back to Magenta's control, which gave him the Sacred Side victory in his favor. There are too many idle villagers here. Some of those villagers do escape out into the outpost there. The Ottoman player is far from aging up. Magenta as well. There's going to be a castle age game. If they were supposed to age on up, seeing how slow or how both sides are eyeing for just aggression, the Apostles' Wallvia may not be a great option. Maybe better go for the other El Spock Tower Palace, their version of the keep. The Ottoman player could go for the Great Sea Fortress. Won't be too particularly, won't provide a trader's additional armor that go by it, but also would be a landmark keep and a map which tends to be very predictable where your opponents are going to attack from. Though the Istanbul Observatory wouldn't be half bad as well for the faster production speed, so I can see argument for both for the Ottoman player. But I think I'm more leaning towards the Great Sea Fortress just because he needs a powerful keep. Which also automatically comes upgraded with the Great Bombardment placement. Empire player is just going for Spearman, Horseman, Crossbowman, and going for some Man-at-Arms to be mixed on in. Ottoman player is going for, of course, going for Spring Golds. Pretty much just Sapahi at the moment. Against all the Spearmen, that's probably not great. Against the Horsemen, they will roll to be equal. Against Crossmen, they will be good against Crossbowmen, but Crossbowmen, of course, so decent for Horsemen with the high base damage. And Man-at-Arms just beat the Sapahi. So I don't know if Sapahi is the best choice right now. I think a healthy number of Ottoman Spearmen would be a good idea. And a small core of Janissaries to support them at least, help deal with the lower armor Spearmen as well as the Horsemen. So yeah, I do not disagree with Janissaries right now. I think Ottoman Spearmen is a good way to go right now. Right now, they are being upgraded Veteran right now. Last Vizier point's almost online. The Spahi doing a good job in getting the Horsemen. The Horsemen are faster. House of Suave is being deployed by the Holy Roman Empire player, trying to fabricate some villagers. And Blue did lose some villagers down here. Horsemen push forward. Nothing to stop these horsemen from engaging the villagers. Spahi engaging these horsemen. Got a Janissary engaging, supported by a Meter for attack speed. More of these Janissaries and Spearmen trying to rotate around. Villagers have repaired up that mining camp real good. And these horsemen will be warded away. Final Vizier point available for the Ottoman player. And as I expected, Advanced Academy. The Ottoman player is very far from aging on up. He has his gold deposit to utilize. His other gold deposit, this one spawned, now realizing it, this other small one spawned a little bit forward. Just going to be a little bit of a problem here. Of course, this large one's back here next to the large stone deposit. Probably should warrant a keep in this region, help keep access to this region. And Zapahi and Spearmen push way forward. Has a number of free spring golds there, which will be quite useful. Just have to keep in mind of the horsemen. And it's right now, if I remember correctly, if my math is still correct, Spearmen versus Ottoman man-at-arms will have the same durability when fighting against the Holy Roman Empire man-at-arms. So it's probably better go for Ottoman Spearmen. They'll at least be on equal footing versus opponent Spearmen, and will have the equal effectiveness versus the Holy Roman Empire man-at-arms, since the blunt weapons plus 2 damage gives a lot of extra firepower to the Holy Roman Empire man-at-arms. Janissar is probably a good mixed force, help engage the horsemen and the spearmen. Spring Golds will help engage the spearmen and the men-at-arms. So overall, I think I'm liking the Ottoman composition right now. I think it's still a little bit too heavy in Spahi, but Spahi, don't get me wrong, they are excellent. And does get a nice spear brace there. Takes out one of the horsemans. Granted, a lot of that stuff me hypothesizing a army composition. Also, the fact that we have castle vision. They don't have full vision. But blue does see all the angry men with pointy sticks, so less reasons to go for Spahi, which he has 11 of them on the build queue. And probably the Ottoman player needs to start aging up, because the Holy Roman Empire player just needs to hold off a little bit, get his elite upgrades, get his university upgrades going, and be in great position. We have not seen a single Black Rider yet. This is one reason why I haven't seen too many Black Riders, or any at all. Because even if they do have access to them, they don't necessarily deploy them out. Are they a light cavalry or heavy range cavalry? Oh, they must be built at keeps entirely. Oh, they're right there. Archer range. There are indeed, in fact, a heavy range cavalry. Each keep, only 5 riders will be trained at each standing keep built. Oh, got a massive conflict here. Springalds gains good damage there on those spearmen in front line. He has circled his Springalds, but he's starting to get overran from the back lines. But the horsemen will be cleaned up. Only one Springalds do go down. Reinforcement spearmen there. His spot, he does find angle to engage some of the crossbowmen, which aren't really countering much. They're providing backline fire support. Springalds are being picked off by the crossbowmen. They're just starting to fall back there, taking some damage. Man-at-arms still being picked off there. Blue has held. Blue has high, or Magenta. Yeah, blue has held. Blue also has higher destroyed value. Magenta's in retreat. 27 versus 57 military units there. Going for hand cannoneers. Going for elite army tactics. So the Ottoman player was able to get a good counterforce going. He is down 8, so he's down technology. But his counterforce was superior and good, and overall just good to play. Good enough Spahi on the field. But it's not to push away forward. He knows he's fighting his attack disadvantage. He doesn't realize how much larger his army right now. He has twice the army value. Magenta's trying to scrounge up army. He's loading wood and gold. Some food to work with, but that's easily perishable. This gold deposit is down to 3,500. Still has the other 2 gold deposits completely untouched. Blue's now obtaining some resources over here. Probably should eye for keeping this region as soon as he can. Villagers here may get picked off by the horsemen. And they will, and the outpost will likely get torched out. Nope, he's going to let that be. Spearmen push way forward. Springalds firing away. There's not too many in the field. And blue spiking sandwiched a little bit there by the spearmen and the horsemen. And I give the horsemen offer similar damage and similar health in the Spahi, being age difference, which means the horsemen are just being much more cost effective. With a spot here in very, very good numbers. Spearman push way forward. Got some hand cannons in the back line. And Magenta and Blue's force are similar numbers right now. And Magenta has to take time for reinforcement push forward. Blue's trying to fall back there with this is Pahi. More supply being put on the field. Blue Empire Flyer just probably should go for more spearmen as well as more man at arms to deal with all this Pahi. And now got the Istanbul Observatory being pulled on the field by the Ottoman player, which improves his production speed for his aura production speed to 100%. And Blue's trying to creep his way forward with a keep, or backwards with a keep, not forward. Fortified outpost. This one's unupgraded. This one has a spring guard emplacement. Spy pushing the way forward. Spearman as well. And Cannoneers firing away. More reinforcing Spearman advance way forward. It keeps almost built, which will buy some fire support. 15 villagers inside the keep. Imam here gives good AoE healing, but looks like Blue's army is getting a little bit overran. Blue hasn't too many military forces in the field. He has some resources to work with. And going for a great bombarding placement. Not too many additional defensive arrows there. Springald does get picked on off. And Cannoneers being slowly picked off by the keep. Very nice. We're just trying to make his way up north. There's a good number of military academies. Taking those out. They're not cheap. They're not too terribly expensive, but they're not entirely cheap either. All 6 sites captured up by Magenta. Getting a lot of extra gold income there. With the Spearman, of course, and push way forward. Got the outpost here and town center. By the way, some villagers got some Spearmen here and some Janissaries engaging. More spy charging way forward. So far, the Ottoman player has not gotten any elite research. He's going for Orbalquins from a siege workshop and from the Mid Imperial Armory. A nice unit, but I don't know if they're going to be too particularly useful right now. The Springballs may be a little better since the fast production speed from the Mid Imperial Armory. The first one's almost complete. There's one, but gets immediately overwhelmed. Does have 10 melee armor, but gets repeatedly stabbed. Some of these other villagers starting to get hit there as well. There's Istanbul Observatory. And Blue does go ahead and resign. This Angrade saying, thanks for watching, and on to the next replay.